Welcome back into our next leg in our race around the world here at the Pitstop Pals, part of the Reality Realm Network. My name is Kevin Oliver.
And my name is Ready.
That's not true. You were not born ready. That's me.
My name is Bruce Heller.
And we are here to talk about season 38, episode 4. And just a moment here. What would Houdini do was the name of the episode.
Oh, nice. That was one of the quotes I wrote down.
Who'd you attribute it to, Bruce?
I put Izzy with a question mark.
With a question mark. Stephanie Negrati.
Oh, well, I was wrong. Okay.
Um, Speaking of that though, speaking of your quotes, do you have any?
Yes. Oh, where'd my thing go? There we go. I have that one. I have Stephanie saying I haven't worn a dress since I was 18. I'm 36 now.
Hmm.
Be one
So
with the
so
horse.
it's been as many years since of not wearing a dress as it has since the last time she wore a dress.
Yes.
That's crazy. I mean, it's been more than 18 years since I've worn a dress.
Same. So I have Rubina saying be one with the horse. Joseph said, I can barely walk in a straight line. How am I supposed to make a horse do it? And Adam said, Joseph doesn't know gentle. These are gentle fingers.
I'm impressed, Bruce, I gotta say. You attributed all your quotes.
The last one I just remembered. I don't have a name on it. I just remembered Adam was saying it.
Mm.
And this kind of qualifies as a quote, but also at the horse thing, Adam was like, oh, Taylor shows up, and all of a sudden he's really good at it after being terrible.
Yep.
Which was like a whole confessional. So I didn't list it in my quotes because I didn't want to type that much, but that was great.
Hmm. My quotes, I got everyone checked that it's the right train station by Jag.
Yeah,
I felt crusty one other time in my life. It was yesterday.
yeah,
That was Adam. Um, he was better at being the horse in Prague than he is here. Also Adam.
nice.
Of course, when Taylor shows up, Joseph gets to action.
Yeah,
That was Adam. That's my cowboy, said Kat about Alex as he was driving the horse team.
yeah,
I got I'm sweating and it's freezing cold, and that is stress. That was Rubina. I'm sweating and it's freezing cold, and then she sniffed her armpit and said that is stress. Um, I got don't make us go hug you, Phil, to Adam because Phil was talking about or from Adam because Phil was talking about um how emotional these middle placing teams were being. He said this is the most emotional I've ever seen. It was Hannah and Simone and just Adam. Most emotional I've seen for a middle racing team at a pit stop
yeah,
because they both, well, Hannah and Simone were in last at one point, and Joseph and Adam um, had a hell of a time juggling, but we'll talk about that when we get there.
yeah. I wrote down the number of attempts it took. That's how wild that was.
Yeah, me too. And Sesternino was making jokes about it on the Amazing Race podcast.
Nice.
Yeah.
I did appreciate, speaking of Sesternino, his comment on Sophie not liking the food reward. That made me chuckle for some reason.
Well, his whole thing is we want to see people like indulging on things, and
Yeah.
fruit isn't really an indulgence.
When you haven't been eating for a month, though, anything's gonna feel like it. I would think. I guess not. That's always been my assumption. I guess Sophie kind of proved me wrong on that. But
And Sesternino stands very much in the realm of fruit is not a good reward.
yeah,
Because also, something I haven't thought about is you have to eat all that fruit within like a day or it all goes bad, and that's a lot of
ooh,
fruit.
I didn't even think about that. That's
Yeah.
interesting. That'd be better for like merge when there's the maximum amount of people on a tribe, not when you have like six or however many they have.
But nobody wants fruit at merge.
Oh, yeah, but among other things possibly. But when you haven't been eating for that long, fruit doesn't seem as bad as it seems to us. You kind of take what you can get, I assume.
Right, but they expect a certain level of quality of reward. It's kind of like even season one, they did that.
Yeah.
Like they had that spaghetti reward, and then when the next reward was like less satisfying, they were like, "You got to do better than this. We're not playing for this."
Yeah. I like spaghetti.
I like spaghetti, but this is not a Survivor podcast. This is an Amazing Race podcast. So let's
You
get
distracted me. That's your
let,
fault.
let's get back into the episode. They had to travel by overnight train to Budapest, Hungary. But I want to say something here, Bruce, that I was very hard on the race last week for not having an equalizing factor, and I think we saw that here.
Yeah, I do too.
I think that what I was waiting for came to fruition. And you said that would happen, so I'll give you flowers there. But I wasn't saying it wouldn't happen, but I was saying if they don't do it, they're idiots. But you were right. It did happen.
Yeah. Yeah, they did really well with that. And
Yeah.
at least the second group got to sleep on the train.
Yeah, and it was only an hour difference.
The first group probably did too. I don't know. I just remember
They
the
did
second group
not.
talking about it.
They did not. There was no sleeper cars on the first group.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Interesting.
and they made three jumps between trains, so they didn't really have time to sleep, or they might not get off on the right place. Um, Anyway, so that's the whole thing. There was two options for a train. One of those trains was going to leave at 6:42 p.m. and arrive at 7:38 the next morning in Budapest, Hungary. But the thing about that train was that it had three connecting trains. It was not a straight through train from Prague to Budapest. Um, or they could take the straight through train that had sleeper cars on it. That was going to arrive at 8 or leave at 10:01 p.m. and arrive at 8:30 a.m. the next morning. Um, Most of the teams did this fast train. Natalie and Stephanie, Jag and Jazz, Tucker and Eric, Joseph and Adam, Hannah and Simone, and Izzy and Paige. The only other team that was able to get there in time that they could have got on that train, but chose the sleeper train was Rubina and Christina because Rubina was dog tired and thought that the sleep was going to be worth the hour behind. But the straight through train was Rubina and Christine, Jack and Chelsea, Kylan and Taylor, and Alex and Kat. So what do you think about these like this option? You could take an hour back, but you get to actually have beds on the train,
Yeah.
or you don't even get to fall asleep because you're going to be jumping between trains so much, but you get an hour head start on the race.
I think there's benefits and drawbacks either way. Arriving there is obvious or earlier is obviously preferable, but mentally there's a certain benefit to getting that extra rest. So it's just kind of what you think you need at that time.
Absolutely. I mean, I think you have to weigh your options based on um, your state of mind and if you could afford and your placement. Can you afford the hour? Can you afford to do it without sleep? I mean, it's kind of a balancing act there. You got to figure out what is more needed for your race.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, we see Izzy and Paige here as they brush off Jag and Jazz, which we talked about before, that there's this tension. Um, I don't think that Jag and Jazz knew that the tension was as prevalent as it was. But when they approached Izzy and Paige, literally just to tell them, hey, um, these are your options. This is what we did. They said, okay, we'll think about it. They were talking with Joseph and Adam, but once Jag and Jazz walked up, they pushed them away.
Yeah.
And once these first six teams get on this train, the fast train, they are already regretting it for not being able to sleep, which is fair. And
Yeah.
we get route info that we have to search the terminal, the not terminal, outdoor thermal bath for your next clue. They are told they have to search for a king, and these people are in this thermal bath playing chess.
This place looks awesome. It's just a giant outdoor pool in the
That's
middle of
that's
like a
warm.
city square almost.
That's warm.
I want to go to this place.
Yeah. It's like a giant hot tub
Just in the middle of a city square. It's wild.
that they're playing chess in.
That might be the weirdest part, honestly.
And the thing is that you got to find the right chess players, and they'll give you a chess piece, the king. And the thing about the king is that if you turn it, it's going to open up, and there's going to be your next clue inside. But they don't tell you that. You have to figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
And some people they find it out quick, like Tucker and Eric were very quick in doing so. Then there were other teams that were not so quick in doing so. But once you open it, you see your clue. It says you need to travel to the Varos to get Mujik Playa. That's my best.
Well said.
That's the best I can do. I wrote it down exactly how it's spelled. So, and you'd find your next clue there. But they also, once they get to this clue box, there at the, but I'm not going to try to say it again. There are two clues inside. One of them is to tell you what the next part of the leg is. The other is that there is a fast forward here. And I really I liked the fast forward itself. The fast forward here, do you want to explain it, Bruce?
Yeah, this is the Rubik's Cube thing that we talked about last week that we thought was going to be like an actual challenge everyone had to do.
Because the freaking next
Yeah.
time on made it look that way.
But both team members have to solve a Rubik's Cube in 7.5 seconds or less,
In the same attempt.
which is just ridiculous. 7.5 seconds. I can't solve one of those in 7.5 months.
No, Bruce. If you had those instructions, you could. There was a
Oh,
piece
I
of
forgot.
paper.
I missed that they had instructions, I guess.
That's why they could do it in 7.5 seconds. There's a piece of paper that told them the moves they needed to make to get
Well,
there.
there are some people that are just freaky good at those, that like fiddle their hands and it's solved all of a sudden. So I thought that I missed the instructions part of that apparently.
Yeah. Well, the reason that people can fiddle their hands and do that is because they've memorized those instructions.
This is great for the audio audience that we keep doing this with our hands.
Yeah.
Just gif us doing that
Yeah.
with
But
no
they,
explanation.
but yeah, the people who are good at Rubik's Cubes is literally just memorize algorithms.
Okay. It's like the peg game at Cracker Barrel. There's certain moves you can memorize to get it down to one peg.
Exactly.
My grandma bought one when I was a kid, and there was a list of moves you could memorize that I never memorized them, but it's a thing you can do.
Yeah, and that's how a Rubik's Cube works. I mean, like how people get good at Rubik's Cubes, they memorize algorithm.
Also,
Um,
shout out to Cracker Barrel. Your food is great. Your peg game makes me feel dumb.
I love Cracker Barrel.
I do too, but that peg game is maddening sometimes.
Oh, I just realized I need to pull open my golf app real quick. Oh, the phone's ringing. I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, I don't have a ton in my office to do show and tell right now, so you guys are getting Cracker Barrel talk this time. They have, I just, such a good vibe. I know there was a little kerfuffle about their logo. I don't care, but their breakfast food is incredible. Meatloaf is great. Hash brown casserole, fantastic. And like I said, they have the fun little game on their tables where you have a wooden triangle with pegs in it that look like golf tees, and you have to jump them over each other and try to get as few pegs left as you can, because when you jump over a peg, it goes away. And the goal is to get down to one peg. Usually I do two or three, but it's, yeah, if I'm not getting breakfast, I'll usually get meatloaf when I go there, usually with mashed potatoes and gravy and hash brown casserole. But oh, he's back.
Did you just
I did crack.
outline
I did
outline
Cracker
your
Barrel talk the whole time you were gone because I don't have
outline
anything on
your
my
Cracker
desk to
Barrel
do show
order?
and tell with.
Outlining your Cracker Barrel order?
Um, I went from kerfuffle about a brief new logo that I really couldn't care less about to I usually get breakfast to explaining the peg game, and then I normally end up with two or three pegs left. To when you got back, it was if it's not breakfast, it's meatloaf, mashed potatoes and gravy, and hash brown casserole as my sides.
Meatloaf?
Theirs is good.
Nah, I get uh country fried steak
I get that sometimes too. I don't get the same thing every time. It switches, but it's
with
usually breakfast though.
mac and cheese and fried okra.
Oh, mac and cheese is good there too. But
Yes.
yes,
And their fried chicken's good too. Um, but this is also not a Cracker Barrel podcast, but
well,
thank
I
you
didn't have
for
anything to do show and tell with this time. They've seen everything on my desk.
I know that's what I was saying. Thank you for holding down the thank you, Cracker Barrel. Maybe they should sponsor us.
Yeah. Hey, and I never complained when you guys tried to switch your logo. So remember that when you're sponsoring random reality TV podcasts.
That's right, because
Because
that's
I
what they do.
genuinely don't care what your logo is. The food still tastes the same.
Call us. We will um I will read a commercial on this podcast for you.
I'm also realizing you and me need to find a Cracker Barrel somewhere near us and take a field trip sometime.
I think there's probably one in Peoria.
Yeah, that's not too bad of a drive for me. Probably for you, though.
It's about 2 hours.
Yeah, it's about an hour for me, so that's not bad.
Hmm.
Well, for me, I don't know if I'd drive it if I were you, but
Well, just find something else to do there while you're there, and besides
yeah,
just Cracker Barrel.
there's a lot to do in Peoria. Peoria is awesome.
Well, it's okay. Anyway, Tucker and Eric, they were the first people to get to this fast forward to go do their Rubik's Cube. And I don't mind this as a fast forward challenge, but I really wish there was a like I really wish it would be out in the open so that other teams could be like, oh, we still have a chance. We could do this and get it. Um, because everybody just assumes that it's already been complete by the time they get there.
Yeah.
That's what I don't love. I was listening to the Amazing Race recap on our app the other day, and s somebody, I think it was Jessica Lees, gave a suggestion that sounded kind of like an express pass thing from last season, where what if a fast forward was done to where we do this challenge and then you have to do something extra at that challenge. And if you're the first one to do the something extra, you get the fast forward, like they did with the express pass with the soccer balls in the
Yeah.
last one. And so it's out in the open. People see that they have a chance to do it. And um, I think that makes for better TV than us just keep flipping back to just Tucker and Eric trying to, do their thing.
Yeah. That'd be smart.
Yeah. Trust me, I love The Amazing Race. I don't want to harp on it all the
Oh
time.
yeah.
I just want it to be better.
Yeah, same.
And I think that there are ways that they could improve that. I really liked what Jessica had to say. Shout out to RHAP. They have a great Amazing Race recap every week
Yeah.
with Jessica Lees, Mike Bloom, and this season Rob Sesternino is
So
hopped back in the saddle since it's the Big Brother season.
I have a note here between the fast forward, like finding out what it is and them getting it.
Hmm.
That is the scene with Jag and Jazz waiting for a cab that I know we both have some things to say on. Do we want to do
Okay,
this here because this is where it's first mentioned, or
hold it back just a little bit because I have a few more notes before I get to that spot.
okay? Because
So
I figure you probably did. This is about where we see that in the episode, and there's stuff they didn't show in the episode. So I know we're gonna get into that.
yeah, yeah. So with finding out about the what the fast forward is, we see people like Jag and Jazz. I liked Jag and Jazz were
Yeah,
actually the first people to the fast forward, and they chose not to do it because they didn't think they'd be good at it, and
yeah,
so they just went on. And other teams were doing that same thing, but Tucker and Eric chose to try it out. And Eric talked about this idea of just getting the mechanics down and then working on speed later. Um, and the other thing that happened before what you want to talk about is Eric got it, and then they just were like, "Sweet." And then the guy just looked at him, and they're like, "What do we got to do? Look at the clue." They didn't realize that they both had to do it at the same time,
yeah,
which was, I don't know, read your clue.
yeah. I feel like we say that at least once every season we watch. Someone doesn't read the clue correctly.
Yeah, we do. And this is what you want to get into. Jack and Jazz can't get a taxi
Yeah, the reason why is what bugs me.
because in Budapest, Hungary, our taxi cab drivers are racists, unfortunately.
Because they
Um,
later, like, they get one right after they put their hoods on and the turbans aren't visible. And
yep,
the
Turbot.
part the episode doesn't show is how many other teams had this same problem or had
Yeah,
some
so
sort of
so
similar problem.
so it wasn't just the turban, it was any kind of non-Budapest Hungarian um normal.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a Budapest thing or a Hungary thing in general, but if you have a location like this and you find out that this is kind of the norm like this, they need to not go back there.
Yeah, I agree.
Like
Um,
they need to not do another leg in Budapest, in my opinion.
I would
'Cause, like,
agree.
Jag and Jazz went from second, should have been first, could have won the last leg, to like fifth through no fault of their own. Like
I completely agree. I'm
moral
okay.
objections to racism aside, it's also just unfair competition wise.
This is only the third time that the race has ever gone to Budapest.
Well, hopefully it's the last.
I agree.
If you're
Um,
listening from Budapest and you're not a racist cab driver, I'm sorry, but Oh
or
well.
just a if you're not a racist in
Well,
general.
yes, I that was implied,
Yeah.
but
Um,
that was my takeaway, and that was like I we were texting about this last night, and I almost said like this is my thought, never go back, but I thought it'd be better to save it for this. So that's my
yeah,
big thought. Don't go back.
yeah. I got a really big problem. This this hurts my heart. It really
Yeah,
does.
same. It sucks.
Um, because Jag and Jazz aren't doing anything wrong. They're not even in even if they're not even like trying to outwardly like shove their race or religion or anything at people. Even if they were, that's their right to like present who they are. But they were literally just wearing a turban. They have beards. It is their culture. It is. I mean, they're the first Sikhism team to run the race, and I think that's great. And I think that the way of diversity is great. And just to see that just because they look a little bit different than you and I, these cab drivers aren't pulling over for them.
Yeah. And
And like you
they
said,
can
it
tell
was
the cabs are empty as they're driving by too, and that makes it even sadder.
yeah. Or the fact that Natalie and Stephanie they watched Natalie and Stephanie get in one.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. But like you said, they weren't the only ones. We hear uh postseason social media that Joseph and Adam saw this problem. They speak about Chelsea and Jack having this problem, Taylor and Kylan having this problem. It's not just the turbans; it is
Yeah,
the color of skin, anything that is not white, I guess.
yeah,
And that is a problem in any situation, and it is awful
yeah.
that had to have any effect on this race.
Credit to Jag and Jazz for like figuring out a solution and just taking trains and buses and still got a decent finish, but that they shouldn't have had to do
That
that.
shouldn't that should not be the world that we live in.
No, it shouldn't, and that I'm just giving credit to them for figuring out a way, but that shouldn't have to
Absolutely.
happen.
I
Don't go
some
back to Budapest and maybe Hungary in general. I don't know if this is like a city thing or like a countrywide thing, but figure that out.
we do have to give some credit to Jag and Jazz because
Oh yeah.
I know for a fact there are people who would run this race, and the moment that happened, they'd say, "Get me the hell out of here." I did not come on this race to be disrespected by people. I did not come on this race to be discriminated against or to be a racist and or to be racist. And the fact
Yeah.
that that's happening is not worth the emotional impact of that is not worth the $1 million. Get me out of here. And I think that if anybody did that, I wouldn't blame them in the least. But Jack and
No.
Jess said, we're just gonna work around the shitty people that are in this place.
Yeah.
And they still got fifth place, like you said.
And I will say I opened this episode saying how badly I wanted to go to that outdoor pool thing. Maybe not. I kind of don't want to go to Budapest anymore after this whole thing unfolded.
Right.
So, yeah, I'll just go to an outdoor pool here, I guess. But
Thermal bath specifically, not just an outdoor pool.
true. I think that like the visual of it was cool because it's just like in the middle of a city square, which I'm not used to seeing. But
And it's steamy.
yeah, but I don't want to have to go to Budapest when this is how at least the cab drivers are. I don't maybe it's the whole city, maybe it's like a specifically cab drivers thing. I don't know. But
Nothing is specifically cab drivers, Bruce. It's like oh yeah, woke up this morning. You're a racist. That means you're gonna be a cab driver.
jobs
we
have
only have one.
prerequisites.
We only have one job that racist people can do. and it is dealing with the public every single day.
That's
That
one
is
too
not
many
how things
job for
work.
them. But
What?
I said having one job they can do is still one too many, but at least we're limiting it.
Yeah. Well, if it was me and I was gonna be like, you're gonna be a racist, then you can go work with dead people or something. I don't know. Dig graves. I don't know. Something that is not working with humans every single day.
It's definitely not just a cab driver or job thing. That kind of just came out as I was talking. But I know there's lots of good, like not racist people that live in Budapest. Well, I assume. I've never
How
been.
do you know?
So
Have you
I'm
ever been to
trying to not
Budapest?
lump all of them together because that's not fair to the good people.
That's
So
right. So what we're gonna say is racist people from Budapest suck.
yeah.
If you're not racist, that's great. We love you. If you're
And
racist, just in the words of somebody on a show that we both watch and love, Only Murders in the Building, season one, Bunny Folger says, if you're a murderer, stop murdering. If you're a racist, stop racisting.
I was hoping racisting was what you were gonna say. That's that's a great way of phrasing that. Outside of this issue, this is a solid episode though.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
That just kind of clouded it for me. That was
It
my big,
did.
and I had read about it on Twitter before I watched the episode too. So,
Sure.
but like it's Twitter. They jump to racist kind of too quickly sometimes. So I was holding out hope that wasn't actually the case, but it was. So,
Oh, it was totally the case.
oh, it was. But can you blame me for not immediately trusting Twitter calling something racist?
No, not at all. Not at all.
So,
But I gotta say, it was kind of ironic this morning. I went to Twitter to see all of the posts about Snapchat not working.
okay, that wasn't just me. Interesting.
Oh no, it's a widespread thing, and it's not just one app. It's like Snapchat's being weird, and like
It's working for me now. It just was taking forever to send things. I thought my Wi-Fi was screwing up again.
nope, it
Okay.
wasn't your Wi-Fi. Nope. Snapchat was being weird, and like Lyft was being weird. It was random.
Uh,
New
I've never
York Times.
used a rideshare app,
The
so
New York Times app was being weird. I never have either. I read that all like there was like 8 or 10 different apps that were
okay.
all like screwed up.
Speaking of the New York Times, I had a realization over the weekend.
What?
Times Square is probably named after the New York Times.
And what brought you to this realization, Bruce?
I was watching the episode of How I Met Your Mother where Ted's friend Punchy visits and is like obsessed with Times Square. And then I'm like, wait, New York Times. Times Square. I probably should have realized this years ago, but I realized this on Saturday.
You're right. 1904, the headquarters of the New York Times newspaper were moved to Times Square, and
It's
that's what it's
obvious
named
in
after.
hindsight, but you know,
Well, it could have been the other way around, technically.
yeah,
The New York Times could have been named after Times Square.
either way, Saturday was me realizing they're connected, and I feel like that should have happened about a decade ago. So my mind
Well,
is slow.
Bruce, it's you we're talking about here.
I know here's another one. This one's one of my favorites of just my mind hearing things wrong. The children's song "I've Been Working on the Railroad."
Uh,
Until like my junior year of high school, I thought the words were Ivan working on the railroad, and it was about a guy named Ivan.
oh my gosh.
I was singing
All,
Ivan working on the railroad till like my junior year of high school,
all the long day.
which I feel like sounds pretty similar, but I'm not gonna
I've
say
been
it.
working on the railroad.
Shout out to Ivan, I guess.
Hey, I have a 3-year old named Ivan that was coming to my VBS this summer.
Does he work at the railroad? Because then
I'll,
I'm
I'll have to, I'll have to ask him next time.
yeah, there's a lot of those where I just heard things or understood things wrong or like had that realization way later than I should have.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
That's a whole separate episode.
Yeah. Well, back to the fact of the matter is, we see racists. We're past that now because we just spent like a million years on it. Anyway, Tucker and Eric finish their fast forward, and we find out that the pit stop is going to be at the Van Kurt Bazaar.
Yes.
Uh, and Tucker and Eric are going to get their way before anybody else. But for everybody else that had to go to what's it called? I already said. Oh, and for everybody else, they had to travel by taxi to. This is even worse than the last one. Ludvika, Ludvika Blue Zahauda.
Is that the horse place?
Zahauda.
Is
What?
that the horse place?
Yes, roadblock. Who you think they can, or who thinks they can coach? Bruce, do you want to tell us about who thinks they can coach?
Yes, but right before this, I also have a note that Joseph and Adam's cab took them to the wrong spot. And I don't know if that's incompetence or racism. And we already had the racism conversation, but that felt worth mentioning.
I don't think that it would be racism because, by like, if you're gonna put them, like, let them in your taxi,
Yeah.
then you're probably not the racist.
Either way, don't take a taxi in Budapest for apparently multiple reasons.
But use your Lyft app that's not working.
If I were to ever use a rideshare, it would be Uber because I've used Uber Eats, so I might as well just stay with the same like thing I've already used in a way.
I've used both, but not per like I've been in both, but they were booked by other people.
I have Uber Eats on my phone. I've used it like twice and it's been years, but that's yeah, so I would just stay with the same thing, I guess. But yeah,
Mhm.
so the horse thing, what you do is you steer a coach pulled by a pair of horses around a figure 8 course without knocking over cones and balls in 45 seconds or less.
Yes, and the people that are doing this, because it's roadblock, only one of the two people can do it. We have Natalie, Izzy, Joseph, Simone, Jag, Christine, Jack, Kyland, and Alex. Um, and we see all kinds of confessionals here. One of them, Izzy loves horses. Izzy used to have a horse named Overbite.
It's a great name for a horse.
Yes, I love it. Um, and Izzy did really well on this challenge.
She did.
She was moving. But
She balled out.
the first team that was done was Natalie, because Natalie and Stephanie got their way before anybody, and they were gone before anybody else even got there.
Yeah.
Um, but
Who
so
was
they got
it that their clock time thingy ran out because the horse just stopped and stood still right in front of the finish line?
yeah, that was Simone.
Th- that's unfortunate.
Oh yeah, it was like she was gonna make it, and then the friggin' horse just stopped right in front of the finish line.
Like if they stopped and stood like that on any part of the course, it's annoying. The fact that they did it right in front of the finish line makes it more annoying.
Right. She's staring down the finish line and still has 5 seconds to cross it, but the damn horse won't move.
It's good TV for us. I felt bad for her.
Absolutely. And that's why they were I think that kind of like made them like get emotional, like be emotional because they really struggled with things like that.
Yeah.
This whole race, this whole leg. But once you get done with this challenge, Route Info says you're going to go to the House of Houdini and figure out how to unlock this box that has your next clue in it.
Yeah.
Um, and also, we see Tucker and Eric come in as team number one here, since they use their fast forward. And they win a trip to La Paz, Bolivia, 5 day trip.
How long would this Houdini box take us to figure out?
I don't think it would take that long. I think we could get it.
I agree, but if I was by myself, I feel like it might take a while because I'm unobservant. But I also, there's a chance I would just stumble into it quickly. So,
Right. Who do you think, which one of us is doing the roadblock?
um, either one of us.
So which one of us is doing it?
It looks fun, but if you felt confident, I'd let you do it too. Like, it's not one I'd feel the need to argue for,
That's fair.
but I
It
don't feel
looks
the
fun
need
to
to
me.
avoid it either.
It sounds fun to me.
Yeah. It's a lot better than, hey, walk out on this like metal grate a million feet up in the air and bend down to pick up a clue.
But I would do that too.
Yeah, that just doesn't sound as fun to me as driving a horse coach.
Fair enough.
See, I said horse coach there. Now I'm imagining like a horse coaching a football game, like walking up and down the sidelines wearing a little visor.
Nay.
So that's fun. But yeah, the Houdini box was fun.
Yeah, and it was a quick little task here. And once you get your clue, it's detour time.
Yes.
We have juggling act or balancing act. Do you want to explain juggling act or balancing act to us?
I'll expl I'll explain both of them actually, instead of just explaining one or the other. But
You're ridiculous.
well, you asked if I want to explain juggling or balancing. I'll explain both. Going above and beyond. You're welcome.
I would prefer you to do both. So that's okay.
Well, that's not what you asked. So, the juggling is you have to juggle 5 rings between you and your partner for 10 seconds. And I wrote the balancing the bottle on here, but that's not on this one. It's just juggling the 5 rings between you for 10 seconds. And the balancing act is you're performing a choreographed routine with folk dancers, and this is where you're balancing a bottle on your head. I don't know why I wrote that down on the wrong one, but
Yeah, what the heck?
what's funny
Yeah,
is I wrote down balancing act second, so I apparently went back up and typed balancing a bottle on the. I might have had a quote somewhere in there because I put all the quotes at the top of my note. So,
right.
oh well.
Um, Juggling act. There was only two teams that did it though. It was Taylor and Kylan and Joseph and Adam. The other eight teams: Natalie and Stephanie, Izzy and Paige, Jag and Jazz, Jack and Chelsea, Kat and Alex, Christine and Rubina, and Paige, or not and Paige and Hannah and Simone, all did balancing act.
Yeah.
Um, but then here we go back to the horses because we have a big kind of a big gap here. A lot of teams are stuck at this horses while the detour is starting, and one of those teams is Adam and Joseph because Joseph couldn't get his horse to do anything for a while,
Uh-huh.
and Adam started telling all the teams, "Well, it's been a pleasure running this race with you." Giving his goodbye speech to everybody else now because of the lack of faith he had in Joseph. I think he was just being a clown, but I thought that was
Adam was
really funny.
clowning on his brother the whole
All day.
episode.
It's awesome. I love
Because
that
he
guy.
also said like one of my quotes. I think I don't remember what it was, but he doesn't understand gentle. You need gentle fingers. Just clowning on Joseph the whole episode.
Ad- Adam's incredible.
Yeah.
Um,
I do admittedly love Joseph like suddenly getting great at the horse thing the second his ex shows up.
right.
That was great timing. That's fantastic.
But before his ex shows up, Kylan and Taylor had been lost. They took forever to find that clue.
Man, navigation this episode.
Yeah. And then Jag and Jazz, this is when they get on the metro to avoid having the taxi problems anymore. Um, yeah, Kylan and Taylor, they might have had some difficulty with navigation, but Kylan ate that horse challenge.
Yes.
They got there last and they left in sixth place.
Yeah. He did awesome there.
I think he took two tries.
Yeah.
And we don't see a ton, at least notable things in from everybody with the detour because the next thing I have here is that Natalie and Stephanie come in here as team number two. I just got to say that Natalie and Stephanie are kind of really, like, in a very good way, surprising me.
Oh yeah, they're awesome.
I did not expect, like, I liked them and I drafted them. I thought they could do well. I did not expect them to be as good as they are.
Me neither.
They're just good at everything, it seems like.
Yeah. So we were talking about Adam and Joseph, by the way. I don't know if we've gotten here yet, but my note is them breaking their key at the House of Houdini.
I didn't even have that written down, actually.
So they break their key in the lock somehow and
And they
have to
had to
get a
wait.
new box. And as they're waiting for their new box, Kyland and Taylor show up and figure it out. So they don't even have to look for where the clue is. They know where it is when they get their box back.
Right.
That just a wild episode for those two. They were entertaining me from beginning to end.
Absolutely.
But they broke their key in the lock. So
I,
CBS might have to pay for a key in a lock. But
yeah, it's okay. Um, Hannah and Simone are both dancers here, which is going to pay dividends for them on this detour.
it makes up for the horse not knowing how to be a horse.
Yeah. And onto this detour stuff, Joseph and Adam, they couldn't go more than 2 seconds forever. They got the freaking juggling act on the 134th attempt.
Like at some point did they consider switching, I wonder?
I would definitely do juggling.
I would do juggling, but when you're at attempt number like 100 or even 120, does switching ever cross their mind? I'm just curious there.
I don't know. I don't know what their dancing prowess is. For me, switching would never cross my mind because I don't think that dancing would be a good choice for me.
I think what's even worse for them here is the presence of the clown that's watching them.
It's like a mime clown.
And he's
You notice that?
mocking them and how bad they are at it.
Did you notice that?
Yeah,
It was a mime clown. He
he's
wouldn't
awesome.
talk. He
Let's
wouldn't
get him
talk.
in the show.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, not great for the audio audience, but he'll be mocking us the whole time. So,
Absolutely. I thought it was hilarious.
but he was like, without saying any words, letting them have it for being terrible at this. So,
And then once they finally got it on the 134th attempt, Joseph went to hug the clown and literally tackled him.
that's crazy.
Absolutely. And we see some more parody here because Izzy and Paige come in as team number three the moment Joseph and Adam finished their detour. Kylan and Taylor are team number four after doing three ninth place finishes in a row. They're in fourth. What we've been waiting for finally comes to fruition. Um, Jag and Jazz come in fifth.
Yeah.
And we go back to Hannah and Simone come in sixth, Joseph and Adam seventh. They're really emotional. They threaten to hug Phil. But then it goes back to the dancing, and we see Alex. He's trying to be super supportive of Kat, and Kat is breaking down.
Shocker, Kat's having a meltdown again.
Absolutely.
This is the fourth episode, and I think the fourth time she's done this season.
I think so. Rubina and Christine get eighth. Jack and Chelsea finish ninth. Kat and Alex, team number 10. They are eliminated. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Bruce, you are really struggling here.
I was going to say, given how this draft went, I assume they were my team. So,
half your teams are gone.
are any of yours gone?
No. My teams are Tucker and Eric, who finished in first. Jag and Jazz, that finished in fifth. Natalie and Stephanie, who finished in second. Hannah and Simone, who finished in sixth. Jack and Chelsea, who finished in ninth.
Izzy and Paige are mine,
Izzy and Paige, that's my other team. Izzy and Paige, who finished in third. So I had first, second, third.
and I had eighth.
And you had Kylan and Taylor in fourth, Joseph and Adam in seventh, Rubina and Christine in eighth.
You know what, though? Joseph and Adam might not have finished super high, but they were like the MVPs for me entertainment wise.
Yeah,
So
but they were really good.
mostly just Adam being a sibling and clowning on his brother every chance he gets, but
Absolutely.
also breaking their key was funny.
Absolutely. And after they're eliminated, we see Kat cry,
Shocker.
and we see Alex give this really sweet confessional. I really like him. I feel
Yeah,
like we didn't get a lot of him.
we
We
got
got a
not
lot
enough
of
of him and too much of her.
absolutely.
Were you happier to see her or Angela go?
As a human, I was happier to see Angela go. As a racer, I'm happier to see Kat go because Angela was fine, like didn't really bother me that much on the race. Angela bothered me with who she is more than anything.
Her and her daughter had a really funny dynamic. Like they were entertaining.
And I loved Lexi,
Yeah, same.
and she was attractive.
That too. It just the scene of Angela being like, "Well, no, that's too old for her probably," and Lexi just kind of awkwardly being like, "Well, no."
Yeah,
That made me laugh for some reason. Like their dynamic was so funny.
I thought it was too.
But yeah, not disappointed to see Kat and Alex go. Oh, he disappeared.
I'm not at all.
Oh, he's still here. Okay. I was about to just do more restaurant talk. I was trying to think of what restaurant it was going to be.
Maybe that's your new thing instead of show and tell. You highlight a
Yeah,
restaurant.
unless I just bring a bunch of random things and put them in my desk drawer and plant them there for show and tell.
I think that restaurant talk would be a fun segment.
Yeah,
Anyway, we get the next time on. We're getting a double U-turn next week, Bruce.
we are.
And we see lots of emotions coming out next week. We see Izzy pissed, Rubina crying. It looks like it's going to be an interesting week. And I don't have a pencil. Gosh darn it. Here's one.
Here, you want this one?
Yeah, I can't grab it.
Oh,
Oh, look at that. It turned into your pen. Oh, look at that magic. I
we,
turned your pen into a pencil.
there we go. Water into wine is still way more impressive, but baby steps.
Hey, I'm not Jesus, so this
There,
is
there you go.
best I got.
Yeah,
Okay, so Bruce, do you want to get into some power rankings now that we've recapped this episode?
yeah, I
Okay,
do.
Bruce, who do you got in ninth?
Ninth. Don't we have 8 teams left?
No, we have nine.
Oh, well, I wrote 9 people finishing, so that's
Well,
interesting.
there was 10 teams that finished, so
Yeah, I missed
um,
one.
I will go over that list and you can figure out who you're missing. First place was Tucker and Eric. Second place was Natalie and Stephanie. Third was Izzy and Paige. Fourth, Kylan and Taylor. Fifth, Jag and Jazz. Sixth, Hannah and Simone. Seventh, Joseph and Adam. Eighth, Rubina and Christine. Ninth, Jack and Chelsea.
Oh,
10th, Kat and Alex.
yeah, it was Rubina's team.
It was literally your draft pick.
We didn't see much of them this week.
You're right.
Either way, my last place team is someone that I, in fact, did have written down on my note, and that's Jack and Chelsea. They've been towards the back each time, and the teams that keep finishing behind them are gone. So,
I had a feeling you'd do that. I have Rubina and Christine here.
that's my next one.
Um, I I think that they started strong and they're moving in a negative direction. And so I have them here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And she's breaking down. So I'm I'm not loving that. I have Jack and Chelsea in eighth. I really think that they can do better, and I would like to see them do better because old people don't always do great on this show. And Chelsea, I like her a lot, but they're gonna have to step it up here.
Yeah, I agree.
Who do you got in seventh?
Seventh. Okay, so 9, 8, 7. This is Hannah and Simone for now.
Okay.
I think they're good. They can finish better than they have been, but from what we've seen both far, they've kind of been middle of the pack the whole time.
I also have Hannah and Simone here.
Nice.
Yeah. I think that they have potential, but I think that the other teams are better than them.
Yeah, I agree.
Sixth,
Sixth, this is where I'm gonna go, Joseph and Adam.
me too.
They are fantastic. Like entertainment wise, they might be my favorite team, but like the finishing just haven't been there.
They are they're inconsistent.
I need them to stay around for the entertainment they bring, but that's going to require better finishes than what we've been getting.
Well, they had some good finishes. They finished third and fourth, I
Oh,
think.
well, that's true. They had that alliance thing a couple episodes, but
Yeah. They started week one in eighth. Now they finished this week in seventh. Hopefully they can rebound from that, but they gotta prove that they can be more consistent to get higher on this list for me.
yeah.
Who do you have in fifth?
In fifth place, I have Kyland and Taylor,
Me too. This is ridiculous.
and they're climbing my rankings. I said last week I need to see them have a better finish for me to actually think that they were what I thought they were coming into the season.
And
And
they did
they had
great
a
this
better
week.
finish this week.
They
So,
did great this week.
yeah,
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. Um, yeah.
there we
Who you
go.
got in fourth?
And fourth, I have Izzy and Paige.
Me too. This is ridiculous.
I thought the power rankings would be slightly different than normal because the cabs that, like, the racist cab drivers really messed with the finishing order, in my opinion. But you kind
Yeah.
of are of the, like, have people ranked the same way I do. So,
Yeah.
what are we up
I
to?
yeah, I have Izzy and Paige here as well. I think that Izzy and Paige could be a final three team, and part
Yeah,
of me thinks that they might be in the final three. But they're gonna have to do better than one of these three teams that are dominating the season.
yeah. And again, this is where the cab drivers come in because they finished 2 spots ahead of one of the teams that I have ranked ahead of them.
Yep,
But I mean, if the racist cab drivers aren't a thing, there's no chance they finish ahead of Jag and Jazz the way they do. So
so who you got in third?
they won the leg, but I have Tucker and Eric here. Like they had a good leg. They won with the fast forward, but if they don't have the fast forward, I'm not sure they win this leg or not. I don't know either way. And these other two teams have been better than them all the other episodes. So
That's not necessarily Tucker and Eric finished second week one.
were they okay? Either way, winning a leg with a fast forward wasn't enough for me to jump them ahead of what I've had as the top two teams almost all season, or
My
at
number
least the past
three,
couple episodes.
my number three here is Natalie and Stephanie.
Interesting.
I think that Tucker and Eric are a better team than them.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Well, you
So
got
it's
two.
two. This is hard because like these two are the teams I go back and forth on, and like Jag and Jazz have been the best team all along, but they have they have to climb out of fifth place now.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna go Jag and Jazz two, and Natalie and Stephanie one, because Natalie and Stephanie have gone second place, first place, second place.
Mm.
So that's hard to argue. I think Jazz and Jazz are a better team
Jazz and
overall.
Jazz?
Jag and Jazz, no cloning yet, but they have to climb out of fifth place. So they might take over the first place again next week, but this is kind of
Mhm.
how I have it right now.
So I have Jag and Jazz at number two as well. I think they're better than Tucker and Eric. But I wanted to give Tucker and Eric their flowers, both coming away with the win and
Yeah.
Jag and Jazz finishing back in fifth, whether it was the racist cab drivers or not. I think that I gotta move
Yeah.
the dial a little bit. I think Tucker and Eric are playing almost as good as Jag and Jazz, and I think that they have just as good a chance to win, or very close to as much. So I have Tucker and Eric one, Jag and Jazz two this
Yeah,
week,
they've been awesome so far. I don't mean to take away from them. It just,
and I would argue that that's the top two. In my eyes, those are the top two.
yeah, I think that's the top three for sure.
Oh, I absolutely, but
Within
I
that three, I'll accept any order. Honestly, whatever you give me, I'm not going to argue.
I
But
would
those three are better than all the other teams.
so I would argue in an overall capacity that you can't give me any order. I would argue for a very specific order for the overall skill level, um, which does not necessarily reflect my this week's power rankings because that is looking at where we are in this race right now.
I think,
Um,
yeah. Overall, I'd have Jag and Jazz first, but I just kind of
overall,
put them there
overall,
after fifth place.
yes, overall, I would have Jag and Jazz in first place, and I would argue anybody who put anybody else above them.
Yeah, I'm just when I said that, I mean like power rankings after this week's episode, whatever order you put those three in, I would have been. If you had still had Jag and Jazz at one after fifth place, I would have been fine with it. If
Mhm.
you had had them at third, I would have been fine with it. You
Right.
so, but those three teams to me, I know you mentioned Izzy and Paige possible finale. So far, these three feel head and shoulders over everyone else to me.
They do, but how often are the three head and shoulders teams sitting at the end together?
True. There was three teams I was saying that about last season, and then one of them didn't make the finale. So I forget who, but
You were Jack and Carson, Jonathan and Anna, and who
because
was
Han
your
and
third?
Holden made the finale, and I don't think they were one of my top three all season.
I don't think they were either.
Let me look up last season's Wikipedia page. I'll know it as soon as I see it. Last season was so fun too.
Yeah, absolutely. Um,
I think they went home right before the finale.
oh, you think it was Josiah and Alyssa?
Uh,
No, it was Mark and Brett.
it was Mark and Brett. That's right. So they went home two legs before the finale.
Well, technically it was the week before because it was a
Double
uh
episode.
yeah,
Okay.
finale Josiah and Alyssa went home at the beginning of it.
But yeah, it was Carson and Jack, Jonathan and Anna, and Mark and Brett the whole season. And Mark and Brett finished fifth. So you're right. The best teams never all make it. But
Yeah, I think to like for instance our last rewatch,
yeah,
I would argue that Seth and Olive were a top contender team,
I
but
agree.
they got U-turn screwed and went out in ninth place.
Yeah, and every now and then a great team just hits this one challenge that they can't accomplish and everyone passes them on it. That happens too. So
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see if we have the haystacks this season.
yeah.
That's just my go-to for terrible challenge now. That looked
Oh, I
awful.
know.
And Han and Holden confirmed that for me. So
Yeah. Well, this was a great episode, Bruce.
it was.
And we didn't even argue.
Shout out to Jonathan and Anna.
Why are we shouting out Jonathan and Nana?
I was just talking about last season. I felt like shouting out one of the teams in there who I was saying was the best team all season, or most of it.
Okay, then I'll shout out Josiah and Alyssa.
They were fun too.
Um, Make sure to check out our other Reality Realm coverage. We got Tribal Council chat going strong on Survivor 49. We got New Generation Challenge podcast going strong on Challenge 41. We've got BB Brains that just ended, but we would love if you go back and catch up on what Kyle was doing throughout the season. That'd be great.
Yep.
We also
Really
what?
hoping he comes back next season too. So
Yeah. And you can also be looking soon, hopefully, for new um coverage on the Roundtable Talk, as I believe tomorrow is the drop of the beginning of Traders Canada.
yeah, you and I are still waiting on someone to find a link for us to see if we can watch that. So
Well, I'm gonna try to find my own link once the show comes out.
okay.
So
Also, the last new generation challengers that dropped, I was on it. So because
yeah,
was out. So
check out check out Bruce guesting on New Generation Challenge podcast. Also check out our socials. Pitstop Pals. We're on Facebook and Instagram at Pitstop Pals Pod. You can find our TikTok Reality Realm Podcast Network. You can buy things from us for our Redbubble merch store.
clock with my face on it.
It's also got my face on it.
Shower curtain with my face on it if you really want to creep out your house guests.
And with all of that being said, my friends, the world is waiting for you. Good luck.
Travel safe.
Go.